boy. Oh God. Oh shit. Did China pull off some sort of crazy God mode like hack on Apple to then spy on us? Yes. No. No. Yeah. Maybe. I don't know.
Get daily tech news in a way that doesn't suck. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next episode.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Front Page Tech, of course, show that gives you all latest tech news from one geek, that is me, to another, that is you. Happy Thursday. Real heavy shit to dive into in today's episode, so let's just do the thing. All right, so story numero uno for the day. Story number one is possibly the heaviest story of them all in today's episode, so you might need to sit down, take a drink of water, or whatever you drink to calm down. It is National Vodka Day. All right, are you ready? Verizon is no longer selling the Pixel 2. I mean, as you know, in a few days, we're going to be getting the Pixel 3, at least on October 9th. It will be announced. And so to prepare for that, Verizon is no longer selling Google Pixel 2. Wow, fuck you, Verizon. Are you serious? You're really pulling the rug out from under people. There were people lining up just waiting to buy the Pixel 2, and you just took it from us. The tens of people that wanted to buy this phone can no longer buy it because of you. I can't believe this. What will we do now without our sweet, precious Pixel 2 sales? All right, listen, sarcasm aside, something that I am really excited, really excited about, more excited about this than I was about getting out of prison. I didn't go to prison. What? This is a teaser for the OnePlus 6T. We got a teaser, boys! And the teaser shows off that in-display fingerprint scanner. Woo, doggy! It shows the thing and then it's like, coming soon. Like, seriously, I am ridiculously excited about this phone and I have no idea why. But I hope that the in-display fingerprint sensor is very accurate because first thing I'm gonna do is scan the tip of my dick. Okay, so, here's the thing. This next story is a lot to take in. We're talking like Shane Dawson levels of dramatic. Gets me every time. Okay, all right. Serious, kids. This is serious. So, Bloomberg Business Week put out a report today. A very big report. Their report states that China used a tiny little chip to basically sabotage US companies and infiltrate the US. Now, the reason why this story is such a big deal right now is because at the very tippy top of the companies listed is Apple. Now, Amazon is also listed, so we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, big deal because Apple. So what this report is stating is that Chinese officials basically forced Chinese manufacturers to include a very sneaky chip, a very sneaky, very tiny microchip onto motherboards. According to all of this, we're talking so tiny that it's like the size of a grain of rice. Now, this microchip was never part of the original design for these motherboards. It all has a ton of history, it's very complicated, but to break it down, according to US officials, here's what happened. These tiny microchips were essentially Chinese military units. They were built and designed to look like signal conditioning couplers. They incorporated memory, network capabilities, and other sufficient processing power to actually act out an attack. Now, these microchips were then inserted at Chinese factories that supplied Supermicro. And Supermicro is one of the biggest sellers in terms of server motherboards. In fact, you may have heard their name used with Apple before. And the motherboards that then had the sneaky ass military microchip in it was then built into servers by Supermicro. And then those servers made their way into data centers. And in this case, data centers operated by Apple. Amazon too, other companies, but you know why this is a big deal, right? At that point, when a server was installed and switched on, that microchip could then alter the operating system's core so that it could then accept modifications. The chip at that point was able to contact computers controlled by attackers in search of further instructions and code. And since this hack was built in on a very, very hardware level, there was really no stopping it. So yeah, compromised servers at data centers, example, in Apple's data centers, collecting a lot of data about us. You see how this could be like really fucked up, really serious, don't you? Now, here's where it gets interesting. Apple responded. And you know what? Real quick, before you guys head down in the comment section and just assume that we're taking Apple's side, that we are apologists making excuses for them, we are sheep! We're being paid by Apple! That's my favorite one. Would you mind? Let us give you a quick disclaimer. Hello, this is John Prosser from Front Page Tech, issuing a very brief disclaimer. F*** Apple, f*** Tim Cook, we don't care. Huh? They wouldn't pay us to say that, now would they? Okay, so this is an official statement from Apple, and this is very, very unlike them. Like, you know it, I know it, there's a ton of stuff about Apple in the news every single day. It is very unlike them to, number one, respond at all, but number two, respond this aggressively. Like, this PR statement is essentially Apple just pulling their britches down and shitting directly on Bloomberg. They mentioned that they previously talked to Bloomberg on the record, and that seemed not to matter in this report, and effectively just said the entire report from Bloomberg is total bullshit. The statement itself is long. We'll link it down in the description if you really want to read all of it, but the very specific part of the statement that I think is important, they said, "We can be very clear. Apple has never found malicious chips, hardware manipulations, or vulnerabilities purposely planted in any server." Amazon also came out with their own PR statement and basically also called bullshit on this. Now, real quickly, I don't want to get political about this. It's kind of hard with a subject like this, but I just want to say that we can't ever really brush off statements like this and just totally ignore them, because something like this is and could be a real issue. Like, we can't just laugh at this. Chinese, like, spy infiltrations into the US, like getting data from us, could be and is a very, very real thing, and we can't just laugh at it. But I think in this instance, yeah, bullshit. If we jump back to this Bloomberg article real quick, if this is wrong, and I believe it is, I believe it's all bullshit, but if this is somehow proven completely 100% wrong, somebody fucked up. Like, this is a major bad news bears scenario for Bloomberg. Like, somebody, somewhere, a couple people, a team of people, jobs have to be gone after this. For Bloomberg to roll an article like this, like some super heavy, super hardcore shit, for them to put this out, make a statement like this, without like asking somebody who's actually familiar with this sort of technology to take a look at it before they publish it and actually explain what could have actually happened here. None of that. It's all just people writing an article as journalists. There are a lot of technological inaccuracies in this article. That's red flag number one. And second, both companies that were accused of being victims in this attack, being Apple and Amazon, have both come out and said publicly, no, this is not a thing. And if it's proven that Apple and Amazon lied with their statements, that's even more fucked up. Like, that's fraudulent. Like, that would have to be investigated at that point. Like, real investigations into Apple and Amazon. So it's pretty safe to say that the fact that they went out right away, made a PR statement, I think that tells us a lot. And you know what? I don't usually do this, but I'm going to include an even better video about this in the description and send you there. If you really want to, you want to get a deeper dive into this subject as a whole, and I really encourage you to do this, go watch Rene Ritchie's video about this topic. Rene Ritchie is a tech analyst that honestly I would fucking trust with my life. So if you don't know who he is, you do now. Thank me later. So go over to Rene's video and at the very least, tell him that I sent you. Give the guy some credit. So yeah, listen, I'm sure there's going to be more developments on this whole story throughout the next few days, and that's fine and all. We will keep you updated as that happens, but just to be clear, I want to make myself clear here in terms of what I believe. Something like this could, would, and has happened before. We can't just like ignore that fact. It is likely that something like this could happen. But in this instance, I don't think it did. I think Bloomberg is totally full of shit. I think this is completely bad and dangerous reporting, dangerous journalism for them to roll this article without any real confirmation. They just had some sources, and I think the sources are full of fucking shit. And I think Bloomberg's full of fucking shit. So Bloomberg, do us all a favor, fuck you. And that's the show. Hopefully you liked it, you learned something. If you did, hit that like button. If you hate my stupid face, hit that dislike button. Subscribe. That's the other one. See you tomorrow.